Hello, how is everyone doing today? So my name is Prisca Moyesa, and I am the founder of a social-first marketing agency called Moyesa Co. So raise your hands if you used your phone in the last 20 minutes or during the break. Oh, look at that, that makes me happy. And this is exactly what informs what I do. So, you guys using social media in this day and age is inspirational in the sense. However, social media wasn't always that way. However, it is our current reality, and I'm a huge advocate for living within our reality instead of fighting it. There are many negatives linked to social media. However, there are also many positives, and I want to highlight those positives today. And I believe that if you bear social in mind in a positive way, then it can contribute to a healthy, balanced diet, and it contribute to immense physical, mental, and emotional success. So, but my view on social media wasn't always this way, and I want to show you guys what this approach was. I'm going to guide you through what I experienced going through college up until university, and how I can help you redefine how you see social media. Many of you in here come from different places and spaces, and I promise you that social media is one of the answers to helping you bridge the gap between your current reality and building a business or a profile online. I'll share insights to my journey that will help you find out how you can redefine and see social media in a much different way. So I am of Congolese parents. I was born in Grenoble, which is in France, and I live in Dagenham. I'm a bit of a cultural cocktail, I would say. And in secondary school, I wasn't privy to the creative industries whatsoever. I mean, I had no business connections. I was literally just a curious person with a longing desire to meet Tyra Banks because of America's Next Top Model, and P. Diddy because of Making the Band, which informed a lot of our creative careers at that time. Or you could either be a lawyer or a doctor or go into banking. Those were the only options I had. However, I then went to college and I studied media, finance, media film, sociology, and communication studies. But a few weeks in, I was diagnosed with tuberculosis, which was pretty painful. I must say, it was a very, very painful disease. However, I overcame that after 6 months of treatment. I don't know if it was the creative gods that pushed me back into college, but I went back into college straight in, and I had an amazing experience. Whilst I was at college, I took up loads of work experience. However, I did not know how to leverage this work experience. Social media wasn't what it is today, and traditional methods of building a business or building a career is what we knew. We didn't know anything else. However, tuberculosis encouraged me, I would say, to change the trajectory of my life. And then I went to Canterbury. And in Canterbury, I studied events management. Now, I don't know what made me study events management. I actually have no clue. I just thought it was cool. I thought I won't have to do loads of work. Super simple, just do events, but I was wrong. It was business on business and a little bit of events. However, being at university taught me how to build my portfolio. It taught me how to connect with teachers. It taught me how to build connections. However, I still did not know how to leverage these connections. I didn't know what I was going to do once I graduated. I just thought, I guess it will all come to me. But then I go back to London after 4 years studying, with loads of work experience underneath my belt, still not knowing how to leverage this, with zero awareness how to build connections in London. Bear in mind, I had spent 4 years in Canterbury, not knowing what I'm going to do, but still having this idea that I wanted to work within the creative industries, but not so much calling it that. And the resources that exist now did not exist then. And I had little means of building connections as well. Bear in mind, I come from African parents who understand careers in law and healthcare, but not so much the creative industries. And it's not that social media didn't exist in 2013 to 2015. However, it just wasn't the social media that we know it today. And as most young people exposed to this new form of communication, we took our offline conversations online. And might I say, they weren't the most pleasant conversations. We didn't really know how to harness social media. We didn't know the power of social media. All we knew was to non-stop talk. So we went into talking about relationships, giving each other bad advice, expressing our deepest, darkest fears, and became online activists. And my peers were doing the same thing as I, so it was just a recurring loop of absolutely nothing. And this is what I want to encourage you guys today. I want you to understand that social media actually is a powerful tool for career advancement. But if you don't change your mindset, how would you reapply, or how would you redefine how you use social media as it is? But as I was saying, social media isn't what it is today. And everybody was just jumping on different trends. Music artists were exposing their labels, vines were coming out. However, one thing that stood out to me was the business behind social media. So many people started to use social media as market research, understanding the younger generation, understanding culture. And I just thought to myself, but I am young. I am culture. Why don't I get involved in this conversation? TB kind of shook up my world. It gave me an epiphany, and I thought, I need to get really serious about my career. So after badgering on and on and on about social media to my friends, I was introduced to this book called The Tannin of America by a man called Steve Stout. Steve Stout believed that culture drives our community and our communication, and he felt as if that with this form of communication, we could bring the world closer, and that we could positively change and influence the world we live in. And I was like, oh my God, this is me. This guy is like my twin. Yes, he's in his 40s and late 50s now, maybe, but I just thought there's something that just hits the spot with this man. So what I decided to do was take this and influence culture, but through my business. And I thought to myself, what if we take all that negative energy and misplace it? Why don't we take that and turn that into something positive? The same energy that I'm putting into social media to have these frivolous conversations, why don't I take that and use that to have these conversations about social media, marketing, and so on and so forth? Now, I'm going to ask you guys this question. What is the platform or the communication tool that allows zero gatekeepers, no barriers to entry, and where you can inspire the world with every single upload? And there's literally one answer. Positive thinking coupled with social media. Social media is the medium where you get out exactly what you put in. And when you start to redefine the way you see social media and these platforms as communication tools, you also begin to alter your reality. But I'm going to keep it 100. Social media is not 100% positive. We do have a few issues on there, and I'll be ignorant if I didn't make them known, such as online bullying, entertainment of people's negative lifestyles or negative reactions, bad situations, making light of bad situations. Social media does have a very dark side to it. But who would we be in life if we focused on the negative? What kind of balance are we trying to restore into the universe if we only focused on how things can go wrong or how things aren't right? By focusing on the negatives, we're not just wasting precious time, but we're immensely underestimating the power of social media. But how do I get you from this self-serving position, this negative position, to one where it's centered on empathy, connection, and positively influencing the world using social? Come as you are. Social media is that platform where you get to come as you are. There's no barriers to entry. You literally can redefine yourself online. And as some people might see this as a negative thing, I don't think it's a negative thing. It's that one place where you can be one person one moment as we are, and you can be a different person the next moment. You can disappear for 6 months, and then you can come back as somebody else, and you can build a brand on that. And I think that's positive. There are enough negative things going on in the world, and I feel like social media creates a positive balance. Just look at where I've come from knowing absolutely no one, to having tuberculosis, to building a business based off of what I've learnt merely on social media, to strengthening my connections online, to finding my best friends. All of these things are happening on social media. Now, I'm not saying that my story is going to be like yours. However, one thing we do have in common is access. We have access to the multitude of platforms where we can define our own narratives, where we can contribute positively to the world. You have to think about what the world needs from you beyond your personal needs. You need to think about the big picture. So, I'm going to leave you with 5 tips to maximize your social experiences. A better mind does equate to a better social experience. The moment I redefined how I saw social media, everything else became a domino effect, and a positive one. And if you do have any negative encounters, just ignore it. So the first, work on your current perception. If you do have a negative perception of social media, write that down and ask yourself, why do I have a negative perception? Okay. What is the opposite side? What's the positive perception? How can I turn this around into something great? Number 2, give yourself a strategy. Even if you aren't a business, I encourage you to ask yourself these questions. What value can I give to the world? What idea or mindset do I have that can contribute to not only bettering myself, of course, but also the world? What do I have to share? Number 3, isolate your mind. There's something amazing that happens when you decide to focus, right? When you decide to just focus on a task, ignore everything around you, and just go straight on. Isolate your mind. There are a lot of things on social media where you feel pressure to, I guess, equate yourself to a lifestyle that maybe isn't you. There's pressure to be somebody that your friends are. There's pressure to be like your friends. But I want you to isolate your mind and focus and redefine how you are approaching social media. Be social. Like my friend David says, a lot of people go on social media, but they're not being social at all. Be reactive, be proactive, make sure to comment, say hello to strangers, push yourself out your comfort zone. First of all, what is a comfort zone? We don't like comfort zones around here, okay? Make sure that you take yourself from one side to the other. Make sure that, and to me, success is growth. If you ask me how I define success, it's growth. So if you see that your social experiences are growing, then that is success. And finally, maximize your potential. Write down every single talent or skill or work experience that you've had within the last 10 years. Start to push that message out. Create a narrative daily. Share your updates. Let people know what's going on, especially within the realm of career. People heavily underestimate social media, and I'm here to let you guys know that there is a way to build a career out of it. Just look at YouTubers. These 10-year-old kids are reviewing videos. They're reviewing games, and they're like on 1.2 million subscribers, and they're getting sponsorship deals of X and Y. You have potential to do the same thing. You just have to isolate the mind. Social media is a gateway to stepping into a business without any prior experience. You can learn everything you need to know about law or marketing or business merely from social media. Just type it in the search. Social media is an educational playground. And I want you ladies, you guys and ladies, to go home today and really redefine the way you see social media. Like I said, look at me. I, in my opinion, didn't come from much, but now I have a social media business. And that all came from just educating myself, deciding to move myself away from the noise and focusing on my potential. Thank you.